Hey, Dave here. Now, if you're a therapist who's looking for some help with the structure of your lower limb rehab progressions, but also the clarity to get patients past 2 to 3 sessions in effortlessly, but most importantly, progress them all the way through the intended treatment plan without them dropping off, cancelling, or even, losing interest once the pain's starting to ease, then please watch this video right until the end. Because you see, I had this exact same problem starting out roughly 10 years ago now, especially with my first job at Leeds Rhinos, and in all honesty, I didn't have this structure nailed, even when I was working in Ireland with Munster Rugby. And then I found that when I started to build up my own private practice when I returned to Huddersfield, things like holding patients back longer than maybe I needed to, and starting to question if I was even on the right track with patients started to come into my mind. And I was finding that patients were actually stagnating after 1 to 2 sessions. And this led me to being really indecisive, if I'm being honest with you, when explaining the findings to patients. And ironically then, this had a massive negative impact on their buy-in to the actual rehab plan, which then most frustratingly of all resulted in patients not being compliant with their exercises, and then that was costing me actually long-lasting results with these patients. But also the retention of these patients in the future, potential referrals from them, and also revenue suffered as well. And after those 2 to 3 sessions, when the novelty of the hands-on treatment starts to wear off and patients start to plateau, that's the most frustrating thing for me. And sure, it's okay them jumping off the bed saying, yeah, I feel great after a little bit of hands-on, but what actually happens when they go back out into the real world? Okay, and even worse was my lack of confidence and clarity in the full treatment plan. I'd start to say to patients, oh, just give me a ring and see how it goes, or if there's any bother, just if it doesn't settle, give me a shout. And that was ultimately a lack of my confidence and clarity and structure. Okay, and those patients never called again. So that's exactly why I had to put together the step-by-step progressive plan in place for my own private practice, but also working with professional athletes. And that's what I want to share with you in my brand new 1-day lower limb return to play progressions course. Now, this 1-day course, the content ultimately allowed myself and over 200 therapists all around the world to cut down our treatment plans, our times, while actually getting more consistent, better results. And it's going to empower you to develop a systematic approach that allows you to progress your patients easily. And after they're pain-free squatting or lunging, you're going to know for sure that they're ready to run and go back to their daily lives without starting to second guess yourself whether they're ready to run or whether they're going to break down again. And that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching you in my 2019 lower limb return to play progressions courses in Scotland, London, Huddersfield and Dublin this year. The lower limb return to play progressions, it's for any therapist who works with people in pain or with injuries and would like confidence progressing them through a structured step-by-step plan. Now, it's for therapists also who missed out on my 2019 Go-To Therapist online mentorship, or for those who maybe aren't quite ready for it. And it's for any therapist, regardless of your experience or job title, who wants to learn a simple step-by-step plan to massively increase your confidence with lower limb conditions that's presented to you on a daily basis, using the exact same step-by-step approach that I use with pro athletes on a daily basis. And I'll also help you differentiate yourself from other therapists by successfully taking your patients through a full, complete treatment plan that gets them long-lasting results. So if you're a therapist that needs help with that step-by-step structure, okay, and a lot of us do, and I definitely did at the start, and maybe it's costing you, thousands of pounds each month in lost revenue, okay, and you want to increase your reputation as the go-to therapist, then click on the button below to secure your place on the 2019 lower limb return to play progressions course right now. Now, we've had over 200 therapists across the world implement this content, and here are some of their stories about the actual content you're going to learn, but most importantly the impact it's had on theirs and their families' lives.
So I wanted to get the course over to our clinic here in Ireland. I think it's an excellent course to really quantify how you can return athletes to play quickly, safely and bring down the recurrence injury rates.
So what I was looking for in the return to play course was a bit more of a structure to how I'm bringing players back from injury, and to get a bit more clarity and confidence in myself in timelining and giving predictions for players from when they come into the clinic first, how long it's going to take to get them back.
I attended this course to get more practical information so that I can bring on to sports teams into the clinic myself, because I want to go full time into it hopefully in the future.
I guess what I like most about the course is that it's really practical. So you learn something and then you immediately use it, which kind of helps to solidify in your head how you're going to use it in clinic. I thought it was going to be very sports orientated, but I've taken away stuff that I can use with any patient. It's not just for sports specific injuries, it's really applicable to anybody who could come in the door, so I really like that.
What I like most about this weekend, I think, is the actual phases. Everything is broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's really, really straightforward. And I think it's, if you go a step too forward, you know to come back. I think it's just a really, really good layout. It's really, really well structured. I think that was the biggest thing for me, was that it was so well structured. Because I've done other courses and it's just sort of messing about really, whereas this is really, really structured.
So the best feature about the course, I felt, was the ability for Dave to get across the real concise parts of rehab you must go through for an ability to be able to quantify to do more running. So people will come in and see us and they'll ask, when can I go back running? And we can show them now when, and they are ready safely to go back running. So there's no more skipping stages and phases, which ultimately brings down injury rates again.
For me, I think the course will definitely help with my confidence. I think that was a big thing for me, was to get confident in dealing with players, dealing with clients of all ages. And I think this will definitely help me, because it is really simple exercises or approach to doing things that will work. I really believe now and trust in that process.
I think it'll help me moving forward with every patient that I have, giving me a structure. It's given me confidence to kind of address some of the elephants in the room that I'd often kind of avoid in the first consultation, in terms of how many sessions you're going to need, how long you're going to be in for. Now I feel confident to address that straight away, and then you're in a really strong position moving forward with your patient, that the expectations are set from the offset.
The Return to Play course is going to be great for all the practitioners here in my clinic. I think it'll put every one of us on the same hymn sheet. In my practice, we have sports medicine, charters, physios, sports rehabilitators, and we have head of S&C as well, strength and conditioning. So we will all have different backgrounds, but now we're all on the same page, and so it's brilliant for continuity for my patients and anyone who will come and see us in the future.
Would I recommend the course? Definitely, of course. It's an eye-opener. It'll give you a good overview for teams, for clinically. It's a really, really good, it's very informative, and it's not covered with fanciness. It is straight to the point, and this is what you have to do, and it'll work. And I think that's what I liked about it the most.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend this course to people, especially people who are multidisciplined, and people who have more than one therapist in their clinic. It really brings together a lot of different ideas, and the ability to, as I said already, to get them across to our patients and our staff as well. So it's huge for that, for the clinic. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I would recommend the course to somebody else. I would say it's worth the investment in yourself as a clinician, as a practitioner, that you'll get so much from it in terms of clarity and confidence. It's well worth doing.
So if you want that structure and clarity in getting your rehab progression spot on, which will ethically help you increase your revenue, your retentions, your referrals, and that reputation as the go-to therapist, then click on the enrollment button below and follow the steps on the next page.